Hey guys, Justin here. Now before this video starts, I want to say thank you guys so much for 100k views on the channel. That is insane to me. And I'm speechless generally. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey guys, Justin here. Now in this video, I'm actually going to be talking about the basic early game SMGs. And basically ranking them from worst to best, basically of all of them. This is every starting SMG, so from the I'm just highlighting them all on the screen here. You can see all of these right here. This is going to be like the base unlock SMG, so it's not going to be stuff like, you know, the MP38. It's not going to be stuff like the PPS 43. You know, early game SMGs. This is the base unlock SMGs, and I'm basically going to compare them all to each other and basically say which one's the best, which one's the worst. And yeah, that's basically how I'm going to rank them. Anyways, we'll start with what I think is the worst, and let's move on to what I think is the best. Coming in dead last is got to be the MP3A1. Now, I have no idea what the hell they did with this, because the Sten is so good, yet this is so god-awful. Like, it has a slow rate of fire. It feels slower than it actually says. It says 410 to 450, but this thing feels slower than that. It doesn't have much recoil, but the sights, I'm not a fan of the sights. The sights are really claustrophobic and bulky, and they just, I don't know what they did to the Sten, because this thing just does not perform well. It doesn't do much damage. Honestly, it generally, the first thing I did when I got the MP40 was throw away these things, because the MP40 just outperformed this in every way. Awful, awful weapon, and just, honestly, just terrible. Like, there's no way else to put it. This is just a god-awful SMG. Anyways, let's move on to number 7. Coming in at number 7 is a weapon that has no need for introduction. It's the M3 Grease Gun. Now, the M3 Grease Gun, of course, is the starting for Allies Normandy. And I've said many, many times, Allies Normandy do not get a real SMG until level 22. The only reason the Grease Gun is slightly ahead of the MP308 is because the Grease Gun, it's shit. Don't get me wrong, it's still a shit weapon. But the 308, I think, is even more shit than this somehow. Because this thing actually, if it connects to something, it will, you know, you will feel that damage. This thing does quite a bit of damage, but man, this thing fires slow. I think this is the slowest firing SMG in the game, and it shows. The Allies, you know, they don't get a good SMG until they unlock the Sten, which is hilarious actually. But yeah, this thing, it's an awful, awful SMG. Easily comes in at number 7. Anyways, let's move on to number 6. Coming in at number 6 is the MP28 for Tunisia. Now, honestly, the MP28, it's okay. Okay, it's an okay SMG. I would say this is probably like a 5 out of 10 SMG. Compared to the others, the other two, which are much worse, this is okay. The only problem is the magazine, in my opinion. It's too small. If this was a 32, then this thing would probably be a bit higher. But that magazine, especially with the high, you know, especially with the rate of fire upgrade, that magazine, even without the rate of fire upgrade, this thing just goes through its magazine so quickly. Other than that, it's just an okay SMG. It's fine. You know, it's just a fine SMG. You know, nothing incredibly exciting, but, you know, it's a starting SMG, so what do you expect? Anyways, let's move on to number 5. Coming in at number 5 is the MP28 for the Moscow campaign. And the only reason I put this one higher is because you get the MP34, not the MP34, the MP38. Literally, you use this and then you get the MP38 literally just 5 minutes later. So yeah. So I generally just put this because you get the MP28 a little bit earlier than the Beretta M1. So yeah, so you don't have to use this for that long, which is, I think, why, I put this slightly higher. Still, basically the exact same weapon. So yeah, consider this, 5A and 5B basically. Anyways, let's move on to number 4. Coming in at number 4 is the PPD with the box mag. Now, I'm really not a fan of this, and the main reason is the magazine. This thing blows its magazine out immediately. It's got the same problem with the Beretta M1918, as in the magazine will literally just get eaten, and I mean eaten immediately. It's a good SMG though, so this is, I would say, compared to the other SMG that came before it, this is actually a really good one. This is probably about a 7, maybe a 10 SMG, so nothing too bad. But I just think it's, the magazine getting shat out immediately is a big hindrance. And in my opinion, it's not even the best Soviet starting SMG. Anyways, let's move on to number 3. Coming up at number 3, and this one will probably be a shock to you, it's the MP34 in Normandy. Now, I'd forgotten how good this thing looks. Jesus Christ, this actually looks awesome. But the MP34 isn't actually that bad. Like, honestly, this is what the MP28 should have been. This is what it should be. A strong, run-of-the-mill SMG that performs very well. Honestly, I know I said that the Allies don't get an SMG till level 22. The Axis get an SMG at level 1. This thing really just performs well, and it is a really good SMG. It's got a good rate of fire. It feels good to use, and it's just fun. It's a fun weapon to use. And really, you can use this until, I've seen people use this until the late game. I stopped using this when I got the MP40 and, got a actual upgrade to it, but yeah, it's still really good. Still really good. And that's why it's coming in at number 3. Anyways, let's move on to number 2. Coming in at number 2 is actually the Sten. Now, the Sten, this is a... Okay, I'm just going to say it. The Sten is a really good SMG. Now, this is probably a 9 out of 10 SMG, in my opinion. So, yeah, this is how far the gap between this and the MP34 is actually pretty big. And that was, and the MP34 was already a pretty good SMG. So, what does this have that the MP34 had? It has a better rate of fire. It's pretty good, just... The only real problem with it is the sights. The sights don't look that good, but other than that, it's still a solid SMG. Like I said, there was a reason why I say that the Allies in Normandy don't get a good SMG until level 22. This is what they unlock at level 22. And for Tunisia, they unlock this straight away. Just a very good SMG. It's very good. It does its job pretty well. And it's kind of surprising that this is really good, whereas its German counterpart is actually right at the bottom. However, there was no way it could get to number 1. There was no way. Let's just talk about that. Let's move on to number 1. Coming in at number 1, there was no contest. It is the PPS 42. What a weapon. Just look at this. This thing is basically what the PPD 34 was meant. It's basically like the PPD 34, only with a better rate of fire, a better magazine, better everything. Virtually no recoil. It shoots in a straight line. It does a shitload of damage. Now, I would say this is another 9 out of 10 weapon, but the problem with this is there's so many great SMGs that this thing just gets thrown back in compared to what comes after it in the campaign. Like, look what comes after it. The PPS 43, which is a direct upgrade. The PPS 41 with the box, another direct upgrade. And then you get the drums. Like, it shows that this, the best starting SMG, in my opinion, is probably the worst Soviet SMG in Berlin. It kind of shows how overpowered the Soviet SMGs in Berlin are, that this is the worst. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.